Man, it don't get no better than that. That was the Roots. Man, I'm telling you, the Roots really, really tore it out today. Uh, I'm just checking in right now. This is just a little quick wrap up of Meridian Day 2, 3. Wow. I'm telling you, man, these days are flying by. It's already the end of Wednesday for everybody in Asia. I know it started off the next day, but we are uh, really, really having a good time. Been a lot of good stuff going on, and so I know it's hard to really catch everything. And even when you're catching things live, it's hard to really pick up all the different details that come through because it's a lot of great information. Don't forget if you are logged in to Meridian, you can actually go back and rewatch things that you miss. So if you want to catch something, there's a slide that you thought that you wanted to go back and further see, log back in and enjoy. Well, for this little review here, I wanted to just go and highlight a couple of things that stood out to me. Um, there was one in particular here. Let's start off with Jim Yong Kim. He is the vice chairman and partner at Global Infrastructure Partners and was the former president of the World Bank Group. And he really, started off as a keynote speaker early this morning and gave a lot of great information. In fact, I'm not sure if you saw this, but Stellar put out a highlight for one of his um, for one of his statements, and uh, he quotes right here: "There is no question that access to financial services, access to platforms like Stellar, are going to be a critical part of opening up the world, so everyone can become whatever or wherever their imagination leads them. I wanted those children to know that the world is changing and they need to change it themselves." Wow. This is once again the vice chairman and partner at Global Infrastructure Partners and also the former president of the World Bank Group. Uh, a lot of people, still want to think that Stellar is not up and running, that this is just a conference of demos. And I assure you, this is not a conference of demos. This is real life happening here. And you're hearing it straight from the people that, opinions matter most. Let's go ahead and show a highlight of that particular statement and when he was speaking earlier today. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Blockchain and distributed ledger technology before I left the World Bank group in 2019. And so this was an opportunity for me to really understand where things are moving. And it's just great to see how Stellar, now I think more than 500 million operations from 4 million accounts, and been reading about how so much has changed even since when I left the bank in 2019. Uh, Groups like Deloitte have said that now for executives, it's no longer a question of will blockchain work, but how can we make blockchain work for us? But it immediately struck me when I was at the bank, in the year of the founding of Stellar in 2015, especially, that blockchain technology, although it wasn't well understood, certainly not inside the World Bank Group, and certainly not in financial institutions, but that it had a huge potential for having a major impact in the world. And here are the areas where I immediately thought that there could be an impact. And the first one is universal access to financial services. And now I want to leave you with a very personal story. So what I said to that boy and to my own staff is that in 1963, I was a 4-year-old in Korea in preschool. And I said that if George David Woods, the president of the World Bank in 1963, had visited my preschool class on a trip to Korea, I don't think he possibly could have imagined that one of his successors was sitting in that room. And I think there is no question that access to financial services, access to platforms like Stellar are going to be a critical part of opening up the world so that everyone can become whatever their imagination, wherever their imagination leads them.
Wow. So, once again, that is straight from him directly. It's just amazing. Over the past, gosh, it's been maybe 6 years, 6 5 6 years. We have definitely believed in the capabilities that Stellar offers for entrepreneurs to live out their dreams, to have access to the world as a stage. And so it's great to hear these world leaders actually, discuss it themselves. Another person that I want to point out here is Stella Mokan. So Stella Mokan is the lead World Bank Group Technology and Innovation Lab at the World Bank Group. This was actually a panel that was moderated by Danelle, and it was on open source. Now, during this discussion, there was actually this quote here, and it states here from Stella. Once again, World Bank Group Technology and Innovation Lab of World Bank Group. She states, from our own exploration with blockchain and the Stellar Development Foundation, we looked into how blockchain can help us improve traceability and visibility into our own World Bank loan disbursement. This learning is very important to us, and we are sharing it with our client countries, other teams across the bank, and other colleagues in the ecosystem. Let me repeat what she just said. From our own exploration with blockchain and the Stellar Development Foundation, we looked into how blockchain can help us improve traceability and visibility into our own World Bank loan disbursement. Okay? We are sharing it with our client countries, other teams across the bank, and other colleagues in the ecosystem. That's huge, right? I don't want to put too much emphasis on that, but it's huge. If for anything, it's just showing you how at the top levels of this, Stellar is being respected, and that's the best thing that we could ask for, is acknowledgement that this protocol works and it's doing great things. They're seeing it in action, and therefore giving that sort of feedback. So let's go ahead and show some video on that, so that way you can hear it for yourself and get a little recap.
So I am so honored to have the panel that I have here and to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, which is open source. I am a big believer in open source technologies, and there's a lot of myths and challenges out there that people think about open source, but it's actually something that you can build on, you can generate revenue on, you can do you have lots of opportunities with respect to it. And I have a panel of experts here that can really share with us their view on open source from all different sectors in government, public sector, private sector. So let me introduce them. So I have Stella Mokan, she's a manager in the Innovation Lab at the World Bank. Thank you, Stella. It's so nice to see you. I also have Irene Arias-Hoffman, who is the CEO of IDB Lab of the Inter-American Development Bank. Thank you, Irene, for joining us. Lucy Harris, who we work together at Mozilla. She's now the co-lead of the Digital Public Goods Alliance. Thank you for joining us, Lucy. And Tomika Tillman, who is the founder and executive director of New America. So I'm so honored to have you all here. They feel like it's a big leap for them. What do you think it's going to take for us to be able to move this forward, especially from a permissionless open network that is open source?
Thank you, Danelle. I think building on what Irene has just shared with us, it's very important for us to keep learning from each other and decrease the time and cost of reinventing the wheel, to avoid reinventing the wheel. Try to build on each other's efforts. From our own exploration with blockchain, and we've also worked with Stellar Foundation and looked into how blockchain can help us improve traceability and visibility into our own World Bank loans disbursement. So this learning is very important for us, and we are sharing it with our client countries and with other teams across the bank and with other colleagues in the ecosystem.
Wow, there you go, right there and then she says it again. So once again, that's and I'll pull it back up here what she said. This is Stella Mokan, and she's with the World Bank. Doesn't get any clearer than that. Once again, just more confirmation that Stellar is on the right track. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I did want to talk about Tomas. Tomas was here. Let me try to see if I can blow this up a little bit. He is with the International Monetary Fund, and this session was public-private coexistence for CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies could be one of the biggest financial innovations of our time, but big questions remain on how to put them to practice. So Tomas sat down, and I thought did a really great job, really showing what the future of CBDCs. He mentioned synthetic, which I talked about not too long ago. I did a little video on the IMF paper where they went into good detail on that. If you still need that, just hit me up and I'll send you a link to that article. I know I've posted it on Twitter. But I'm going to go ahead and play you a quick snippet from his presentation. I think it's pretty insightful. But check out what he says at the end and how they're paying attention to what Stellar is doing very closely. Not just himself, but his colleagues. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And like I said, check out what he says at the end.
Liability, their own coin to us, the end users, drawn up in little circles at the top. Next. So what happens here is that we have two layers. We have the CBDC layer the central bank has issued, and the synthetic layer that private issuers have issued. Next. So, of course, the CBDC layer serves the purpose of redemption commonality, feasibility, and clarity. Because now the coins issued by these private sector players can be interchangeable. Next. And that, of course, means that these coins, these privately issued coins, become an efficient means of payment because they allow for interoperability, multiplicity of solutions, innovation, etc., as we said earlier. Next. And the CBDC layer here has to offer redemption stability in terms of you can get a central bank liability back. You can get $10 worth of CBDC issued by the central bank in exchange for that coin that you're holding. Next. But for that to happen, we need a new regulation and new legal basis. So this is where we need to make progress. We need to create licensing agreements and regulation in order to allow the private sector to innovate on top of CBDC. Next. Nevertheless, we realize. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And I have to say, I'm very, very interested in what the Stellar Foundation is doing and following closely, as are my colleagues. So congratulations on what you're doing.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you saying that. All right, wonderful. Well, CBDCs could really be an innovation that happens in our lifetime. And I'm really grateful that researchers like Tommaso and organizations like the IMF are doing a lot of research and thought leadership in this space to help us understand what that might look like.
Can we just well, this way over here? Can we just go ahead and give a shout out to that mug? That mug is like the star of the show. It is like the coolest mug. I want one of those mugs. If somebody could please send me one of those mugs, I appreciate it. Those mugs are nice though. Just to kind of round things off here. Don't want to keep you guys too much, but wanted to highlight a couple pretty cool things in regards to the World Bank, the IMF. They really had a strong presence today on day 3 at Meridian. There were a lot of other great things that happened. Like I said, we had Inclusive, Abra, so much more. Bill was awesome. I enjoyed that one. Definitely check it out if you missed anything. I definitely didn't cover everything that's there. But I wanted to just end real quick here. I'm not sure if you had a chance to check out the updated Stellar's website. Once again, there's still people out there, as I said before, that think that Stellar is not up and running, as if there's not hundreds of companies out there with a lot of action and activity that are building on Stellar. And there are more that we don't even know about. Stellar is being used, is usable, and it's moving forward at a very fast pace. And it's only going to get more exciting. And so if you haven't plugged in yet, definitely, hit up Stellar Global. I'll put a link in there. Get connected in the community. Tomorrow, 10:15 PST, myself, Daniel with Public Node are going to be speaking about ways that we are trying to, bring this community together, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And as Jed said earlier today, the best way you can help to grow this network is to educate yourself. The more educated you are, the more that you can help inspire other businesses and other people, other developers out there, to help them to understand how they can plug into the network and help make this dream a reality. So let me go ahead and end it off. I'm going to play this video that's on the Stellar website. It's highlighting the Cowrie Exchange as well as Tempo, which is a remittance company out of Europe. And Cowrie is out of Nigeria. So check out this video. Hope you guys enjoy.
Stellar was created for currencies and payment, this technology. They understand exactly what market needs.
Lagos is a very vibrant, aquatic city. It's the financial center of Nigeria. Cowrie Integrated Systems is a fintech company that uses blockchain technology to enable cross-border payments.
I like Paris. It's really a very beautiful city. Tempo France is a payment institution to provide money transfer business for individuals and businesses.
One of the fundamental reasons why it's difficult to make cross-border payments from Nigeria is due to the fact that the Nigerian currency Naira is not globally traded. Legacy cross-border payments have not kept up with modern technology. Whenever customers have to make payments, they normally have to go through many intermediaries, which leads to a loss of value and makes their payments more expensive. When we joined the Anchor program, we came across Tempo. Tempo is a Stellar anchor, and that means they issue a token that represents Euro currency. Cowrie, we issue a token that represents the Nigerian currency. And in our partnership with Tempo, we transact over the Stellar network where we trade these tokens.
Immediately, Euro becomes EUROT, EUROT becomes Nigerian NGNT, and then NGNT becomes Nigerian Naira.
What Stellar can give you is liquidity for your currency, and also payments are regulated correctly by all the jurisdictions served by Stellar.
Clients can check any transaction from the beginning to the end.
We started out by serving mostly retail users, people who would purchase cryptocurrency. But ever since we opened up the Nigerian-European corridor, we're able to acquire business clients, and we've seen a lot of growth ever since then.
Transaction time, which means speed, it takes less than 10 seconds, and we increased our business 5 times during 1 year.
We've seen 5 times growth in daily payments over the last year. Today, we send 500,000 euro per week from Nigeria to Europe.
We are not going to stop only with Nigerian market. We are going to grow and extend our business in many countries and worldwide.
We're really looking forward to having global coverage for our cross-border payments business.